Hello everyone, welcome back to the Ancient Castles and Fortresses show. Well, we have just about arrived in the beautiful fortress city of Almeida. What you can see down there is the main courtyard of the museum. This is a fantastic place. The fortress itself is a fantastic place as well. I don't know if you guys know about this, but it's practically has an enormous city inside of it. It pretty much grew over the times with the protection of the fortress, and it just went on right about the French invasions that came all the way from the territory of Spain, because most of Spain was under control of the French. And when they arrived to Almeida, what they saw was this huge fortress, but with a kind of weakness. The garrison wasn't the biggest one, and therefore there was one initial problem during the siege, during the French siege. Well, the ammunition supply dump was pretty shaken up and exploded, but after the main fight. Therefore, the decision of the garrison was eventually to surrender in order to spare the fortress and try to preserve it, because the French would no doubt pretty much tear it apart. What you guys can see over there is the main fort, right? There are always one of these in the gates just prior to enter the main fortress compound. That is the main entrance fort. Garrison supply there pretty much came all the way running, attacking the enemy just prior to their arrival in the principal gates. Well, where we are, these were the location of the cannons. This, of course, was all cleaned up. The cannons would be placed here, all around these square parts. The fortress itself is kind of a big problem for us. It is pretty huge. It's got a museum. It has all sorts of facilities inside the town. The town itself is pretty amazing during not only its construction time, but right about until our days. It's in well shape, very well preserved. In fact, one of the most beautiful historic towns of Portugal. These are fantastic. This is the roof, the original roof, stone roof of the barracks, which now houses the museum. We are going to take a nice long walk, because it is a long walk indeed, no doubt about it, guys, through the entire fortress. It is extremely big. I can give you another bird's eye view of the main entrance to the museum, which is kind of cool. Well, there is one problem with it. They do not allow filming inside, so that pretty much screws our plan, guys. Well, you just can't have anything, so no problem. Another place, again, another cannon emplacements. A lot of them all around the walls. And today is a bit cold and windy. Just hope it doesn't rain, because I forgot my jacket in the car. What you guys can see over there are what it's called treason gates, right? Those are small gates from inside the gallery that cross from one side to the other. And if the enemy would come through the main pits, because it could happen, of course, they would have to close that, or even send a garrison to try and enclose the area and try to stop them just before they reach the main wall. Right, guys? This is the strategy of all these types of fortress. You've got inner forts all around, all inside the outer perimeter, and then of course the main fortress wall. That was the strategy of the time. In most of the cases it did work. well, not to Almeida, of course, because the order was to preserve the fortress, not have it destroyed, of course. And not far from here, we've got the amazing ruins of the Spanish fort, the Nuestra Señora de Concepción, which is in about 20 kilometers from here, probably. Not very far away as well. I can show this. This is a fire department. Lovely panorama. Well, the weather isn't the best, but it's the times of today. You just gotta support the weather. There's nothing humane you can do about it, so you just gotta live with it. The fortress is one of the biggest and well preserved around, and it is great. They actually preserve it a lot. All of this is lighted up during the evening. All the towers and main squares of the walls are lighted up. I've seen it at night and it looks amazing, really beautiful. You can see a panorama of of one of the streets of the town. This was probably one huge tree that was cut down. I wouldn't doubt that this would bring down the wall. What I'm about to show you in a few minutes is one of those tunnels that would lead to the outside. There is one very close by. It is pretty dark. We actually, and unfortunately, we forgot our flashlight, but we gotta live with it. So let's try and have a look without one. As you can see, these gun emplacements still preserve original cannons. There aren't many of them, of course. I went around the entire fortress once, and there's about 12 cannons on each side, which isn't much. Most of them are, of course, missing, most likely melted because it's material, I don't know, stolen during the times, I also don't know. But there are very few original cannons remaining in its original locations. Here, guys, this is one of the zones that has access to the outside, and that is one just on the other side. As you can see, this is pretty much a bit scary. So it is very spooky. I don't know, kind of littering, bit of garbage. I don't know, this is probably the product of stupid teenagers or some savage, I don't know as well. As you can see, and we definitely forgot our little flashlight. My cell phone pretty much sucks. This definitely leads to the other side, to the other gate. It's one of the escape hatches, and also Treason Gate. Well, the Treason Gate comes from prior to the Middle Ages and onwards. As you can see, these type of fortresses are from the 1850s and earlier, and they still use the Treason Gates. It is one of the most strange conceptions. The army would invade, of course, on the other side. The population could live through these gates, but they could also use it to get in. So it is kind of an odd concept. Well, in our today's way of thinking, of course. But well, that's history. So you cannot, and you shouldn't change history. What you can see right over there, this is the World War I memorial. Definitely, because most of the soldiers that fought in World War I, a lot of them were from up here, from up north. And the location of Guarda is definitely one of the places where many came from. We're gonna take a closer look. So as you can see, to the deaths and the fallen of the Great War, 1914-1918. This was placed 1968, still during the regime. So this is pretty much one of the parts of the city. You can see all the churches. It is, as you say, one of the amazing places. We're going to take a closer look to another escape hatch. As I can see that you guys probably want to see it. So do I. But sadly we forgot our flashlight, which kind of sucks. But we'll take a look anyway. There are a few bums around the city, which is a shame, but I guess they are everywhere, not just in the big cities, but in smaller towns like this, there are always bums around. So it's just up here. This is we're getting close to one of the treason gates. I don't know if it will be open or not, but anyway, we just can't go deeply further because we don't have a flashlight. So here it is, guys. I actually have no idea. We've got some light down there. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. This definitely needs some lighting. It would definitely be amazing. This is one of the escape hatches. It will lead to the inner perimeter of the town. As you can see, guys, we are in the pit, one of the pits of the fortress. As you can see all around, this is one of the treason gates. There are many like this all around, and I don't know if the invading armies could eventually pass through the other. They will definitely use this to get inside. So sometimes I actually don't see the point of this. And I'm gonna say goodbye to you guys from here. This is the Fortress of Almeida. I truly hope you've enjoyed this episode of this beautiful fortress. Please subscribe to the channel. Please press the like button. It takes a whole lot of trouble to find these locations for you guys. So I hope you appreciate the joy and pleasure that I have in filming in these locations. So I'll see you all at the next episode, right? Cheers.